Hi, I'm about to make a mission in ARMA, and since I was going to make a mission anyway and play it, I thought, well, why not record it? And some people that are new to making missions in ARMA might get something out of it, some tips out of it, or hints, or I don't know, they might get something out of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to single player editor, and I want to make a mission, and just a quick mission in UDIS. So I'm going to go to continue, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to company, and I'm going to create a uncomplicated simple mission in company. So it's just going to be go into the town and take everybody out who's in there that looks like an enemy. So what I'm going to do is first thing I'm going to do is go to groups, and I'm going to create op4, and I'm going to left click on the shift button, keep my finger on shift, and I can rotate the units and move them around by keeping my finger on the left mouse button. I'm going to move these guys here. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a waypoint here, and I'm going to have hold fire, staggered column, speed limited, behavior safe, and I'm going to do a placement radius of 50 and a completion radius of 10. The next waypoint I'm going to do is a cycle waypoint over here. So I'm going to choose cycle, and I'm going to do another placement radius of 50 and completion radius of 10. And for those that are unfamiliar with what that does, the placement radius means that the AI will move somewhere randomly within this spot. So because I've chosen cycle, what they might actually do is they actually might just walk around here and just patrol the area. The next thing I'm going to do is create another guard waypoint, and I'm going to have open fire, formation wedge, speed normal, and I'm going to have behavior stealth, and I'm going to have a placement radius of 125 and a completion radius of 20. What that does is the completion radius means, let's say they go to a random spot here and they guard this area, then the completion radius from that point will be 20 meters around that destination. So around here, that'll be the completion radius. So as soon as they enter that completion radius, then that's where they'll guard. The next thing I'm going to do is keep my finger on shift and click a waypoint. Notice I can move around, and I'm going to control C and control V, and I now have an opposite, a duplicate of a group of units. And so I'm going to move these units over here, and I'm going to move this here, and I'm going to chuck a guard there and a move there. So I have two patrols patrolling company. Next thing I want to do is I'm going to do a trigger and have a 500 meter by 500 meter radius, and I'm going to have blue 4, the activation, and detected by op4, and I'm going to have a hint they can see us, and I'm going to have an effect on the left hand corner, and I'm going to have type text, and it's going to be they know we are here, and I'm going to do be aware and get ready. So what that should do is as soon as I walk into this area, this big giant blue area here, the AI will go from patrolling company and go into guard mode. and then they'll start shooting at us if they see us. I'm going to synchronize this trigger to the guard waypoints, and now the next thing I'm going to do is create my guys down here, and I'm going to have blue 4 and the name Razor Team. This is going to be I'm just going to use the Razor Team. I'm familiar with them, and I'm going to name this guy Miles, and I'm going to have him as player. Then the rest of these guys, I'm actually going to have a placement radius of 20, so I'll go into that in a minute. If you're not familiar with it. The next thing I'm going to do is make all of these guys playable. And I'm going to create 4 markers. Call this one M1 and make it yellow. I'm not going to put anything in the text because this is going to be an empty marker, so it'll be invisible to me. I won't be able to see it on the map. Okay, Control C and Control V, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to group my front guy, the player, to these markers. And so, where's the last one? There. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have these markers and put these markers all around company. So effectively what that'll do is I will randomly spawn in one of these places, and if you don't know that already, and I mean I can do the same thing with the AI as well. Like I could create a marker here and group the AI to different markers around here and do the same thing and have a complete random situation here. Or I could even have a marker, put a marker there and put a marker down here and have them in completely a random city, not have no idea which city they're in. So but anyway, I'm not going to do that for now. The next marker I'm going to have is a marker down here, and I'm going to call it M2, and I'm going to have a yellow start icon, and that's going to be my insertion point, and it's going to be my reference point where I start, and I'm going to call it insertion, and that's my what I'm going to do now is I'm going to attach that marker to Miles, to the player. So to do that I'm going to do M2 set marker pos get pos Miles. Now all of these scripts can be found in a guide called Mr. Murray's ARMA Guide Deluxe editing tool. If you download that, just Google it. That guide has all of these scripts, so you can copy and paste, like you can alt tab out of the game, copy and paste the lines directly into here, so you don't have to remember them. The next thing I'm going to do is I've got to regroup these dudes to the player. That's why it's best to name these units and change the rank that's under the leader, so then they won't ungroup, or they're less likely to ungroup. So he can be the main rank guy, the sergeant, and the rest will be corporals. Just makes life a bit easier. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a marker up here. I'm going to call it E1, and it's going to be my border. So if I play the game on expert, I won't be able to see the enemy units, and the only reference point I'll have is where the marker is on the map. So I'm going to chuck that here, and the next marker I'm going to create is E2. That's the name of the marker, E2, and the text next to the marker that I'll see in the game is enemy territory. And I'm going to have icon Russia, the Russian flag. So we basically have a very simple setup. I'm going to randomly spawn somewhere on these icons, and that marker here will attach itself anywhere where Miles spawns. So if Miles spawns up here, the marker will spawn there. But these invisible markers won't be seen. So if I quickly do a preview of the map, this is what it looks like. Now if I push M, notice, see that says there's the Russian flag enemy territory, and that's the border. And notice my insertion marker is over there because I spawned there. So the next thing I'm going to do is make the, I want to make it a little bit, seem like a little bit more professional. So I'm going to actually have tasks and notes, and I'm going to put them into Miles because it's just easier. I'm going to have task 1. This is going to be my objective. I'll create the task first. Create simple task. Create simple task. Task 1 equals player. Create simple task. Brackets and speech marks, and I'm going to have take company. That's my objective. Brackets, and I'm going to have a little bit of a description, so so it gives me a bit of a backstory of what's going on. So I'm going to have set simple task description, and I'm going to have brackets, and I'm going to do task 1. Task 1 set simple task description, and I'm going to have the description of the task here. So I'm going to have go into company and kill any armed guards guarding the town. And I'm going to have now I'm going to have a reference point to a marker. I'll show you what that does in a minute. Now I'm going to have put a marker in here. Marker name. I'm going to have equals apostrophe E2. Now E2 is the marker name, which is next to the town that I put in. And I'm going to have another arrow, and then I'm going to have what the name I want to reference that as on the map, which I'll show you. I'm going to put here arrow and a slash. It's got to be that /2 marker and arrow. So if I wanted to reference more than one marker, I would just repeat that and I just repeat it. So I could copy and paste that, just do a comma, and then just reference another marker. Say if I had another destination, I could call that E1. It'll reference another marker, the marker that I've called E1. I won't go into that right now. But next thing I've got to do is I've got to put speech marks to close that section off, and then a comma and speech marks. Now I'm going to put task 1. Take company. Take company. And speech marks, comma, speech marks, bracket, and colon. Now what I can do now is create a diary record and give it more even, and flesh the mission out even more by creating a diary. I won't do that in this mission. I just want to keep this one very simple. This is just to give you an idea how to bring the tasks up on the map when you play the mission out. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set the task state. So I'm going to do task 1, set task state, speech marks created, and I'm going to do a colon. So what this is going to do is I'll show you what this does in the map if I preview it. So if I push M, now notice on the top left hand corner, see up here, you will find that all of the things I've just put into the any box of Miles will be in here. See? It says take company, and it has go into company and kill armed guards guarding the town. Here, now notice here is a different colour. I'm just going to set its current. Now that notice that's grey. I'll show you how to turn that green when you complete the task, and my task is going to be destroy everybody in that town. If you see here, because I've put a marker reference point on the ini box of miles, if I click here, have a look at what happens. Look at that. Looks kind of professional, doesn't it? So I can click here and it will go to the marker of enemy territory, because that marker is called E2, and that's the reference that I gave in the ini box of miles of the set task create simple description. So the next thing I'm going to do is create 2 triggers up here and have 500 by 500 radius, and I'm going to have op4 not present. This is going to end my mission, and I'm going to have a hint to give me a reference that the mission has ended. Destroyed enemy has been defeated in Kamani. And next to that, I'm actually going to put task 1, which I put into the miles ini box, set task state speech marks succeeded. So I created the task 1 state in the miles ini box, and now I'm creating the mission objective when it's succeeded. So that task box on the map will turn green and no longer be grey when I destroy all the enemy in this area. I'm going to have an effect text, and I'm going to call it enemy has been destroyed. So yeah, I think that's right. So once the enemy has been destroyed in the 500 meter by 500 meter radius, then my task will be the task box will turn green. The take Kamani task will turn green, meaning that I've succeeded the mission. The next thing I'm going to do is actually have an end trigger, Control C, Control V, and I'm going to make this 10 seconds after I see that the task has been completed. So, and I'll have end 1. And so there you go. And so, what I can do as well is I might just put a marker here, a marker up here, and call it E3, and I'm going to have blue, and I'm just going to give it a bit of a title, like have an arrow filled thing, and I'm going to have take Kamani, or even better yet, Operation Kamani. Operation Kamani. See there up here, Operation Kamani. So this is what it'll look like when I go to preview. Woohoo! And M, and so that's where I've inserted this time. Operation Kamani, enemy territory, black border. Now if I go to tasks on the top left hand corner, you'll see take Kamani. That's my task 1 that I put into the miles ini box. Go into Kamani and kill the armed guards, and there's the reference marker, and set as current. Now when I succeed that task 1, that'll turn green, and then 10 seconds after that the mission will end as this trigger will activate 10 seconds after it. So yeah, there's a quick simple mission, and the next thing I'm going to do is just give you just show you this. See, I can move the whole mission. I can move it down here. I can move the mission here. I can move the mission here, and even I can also save it, Operation K that I've done. And the next thing is really cool is I can load another map. I'll just do this really quickly. I can load another map, and let's wait for it to load. I've got an old CPU, it's a 2006 old CPU, and I can Control V and do the, well, I know I stuffed up, but I can do the whole mission on another terrain without actually having to recreate the mission again. So if I go to UDIS, I'll just do Operation K. No, I'll just do that again, sorry. Control C, right? And I can load another mission. I can load another map, and then Control V. See? And I can have it in this. I can have the same exact mission in this area, or in a whole new town, and I don't have to recreate the mission to do that. All the markers are there, everything. And so yeah, I hope you learned something. And if you want me to do more missions, like hostage rescue missions, if you want me to do helicopter missions or parachuting missions or anything like that, I can do that if I see any positive feedback. Otherwise, I hope you learned something. Cheers, thank you.